From the TBD studios, let's talk live with your hosts, Natasha Barrett and Melanie Hastings.
All right, do you know how to build a business? What about an empire? It seems like everyone wants to get rich, but we really don't know how to get there. Well, the book, How to Find a $100 Million Business Idea, takes a long look at how millions of people have developed, built, and grown their own business and their ideas into cash cows. Robert Jordan wrote the book. He's with me now and has some insight as to how you can make it happen too. This sounds too good to be true, that you can actually help us get to these great success stories that we're talking about. All begins with just one thing, the idea?
Yes. The good news is there's never been a better time for ideas. And I have to say that it's not instantaneous, but the examples from the book, how they did it, Billion-Dollar Insights from the Heart of America, it definitely shows you don't have to go off to the top of a mountain. You don't have to have a cure for a disease. It really is that most of these incredible founders, the idea started kind of right in their backyard.
You know, this is daunting because when you look at the stats, and I think you referenced this in your book, 1 in 5 businesses in just a couple years, about 5 years, are still alive and going.
Right. So here's the flaw that most entrepreneurs make. They give up too soon. And they try to do something which is perfect. And if you're going for perfection, it generally doesn't work. What champions do better is something that we call fail fast. They try a lot of experiments, and they don't let the results of any one experiment determine their entire success.
Because it obviously takes some time. Let's go back to the idea. You have the idea, and it's making that happen. What's a good timeline? You've talked to all these people. You said, how many people have you interviewed for your book?
There were 45 entrepreneurs who created $41 billion from scratch.
Wow. So there's some good substance in this book to learn from these people, but you keep with the idea, but how much time should you give it to know, okay, it's either going to work or I have to pull back and start all over again?
But Natasha, here's the thing. It's never the first plan that's the home run. What we found out is it's always what we call plan B. In other words, for all of these successful people, it wasn't the initial idea. They had to keep on trying, keep on experimenting, and eventually they got to the big winner.
So, when you talk about your idea, you say you've got to keep a couple things in mind. And one of them is to just get down and dirty and get your hands dirty for the business.
You have to get into it. And what tends to happen for most of us, we want to turn out something that is perfect, and as a result, we just procrastinate and we keep on putting it off. And you got to get past that point. You have to actually go and do it. One of the founders put it in an interesting way. He said, we avoid failing. And he said most people avoid failure, and that is not a way to achieve great success.
Yeah, that has to happen. You hear that from so many people.
Right.
You know, this happened to me in order to get to this point. But it looks so easy to all of us. Like, this person has had such great success. Why isn't it working for me?
And that's the reason I wrote the book, is because from the outside it looks like these people won a lottery. And that's not in fact what occurred. They all hit challenges. They all hit the wall. And the book talks about how you get past that.
Something you hear about a lot is, I might have a good idea and I'm going to go in with my buddy. I'm going to go in with my best friend because I can trust them. But you say no, do it alone. Why?
Well, you start and you have to be the one to fuel that idea. But actually, what we learned is success is never a solo act. All of these champions surrounded themselves with great management teams, and that's how they hit a home run.
They have people behind them. It's not just them.
It's never just them.
You also say to not get too attached, and this is probably going back to it's not going to be your first idea, it's not going to be your first thing, but don't get too attached to it. Be open to some flexibility.
You have to. And this is what's so hard, because on the one hand you have to have some flexibility to adjust. On the other hand, you have to be incredibly stubborn because everyone's telling you you're crazy, you're wrong, and it's not going to work.
The other thing is, you think about an idea, we've all been there, just sit around and say, that would be good. That could make money. I would buy that. But I think a lot of people stop because they think, well, I don't have the money to put behind the idea. And then the other thing is, oh, somebody's already thought about it, probably. You heard that, right?
You hear that all the time, and I have to say there has never been a better time for ideas, never been a better time to launch. 10 years ago, if you set up an internet business, the tools you would have needed might have cost $1 million. Those same tools now, maybe $100 a month. It's literally that dramatic.
You don't need that much.
No.
That seems like it's too easy,
Well, the challenge has moved on. You have to be good at marketing your idea. But the sense of, oh, I don't have enough money, I can't launch, that's gone.
Okay. What's the big trend in ideas? You interviewed, you said about 40 or so of these business owners that are doing well, making a lot of money. They run the gamut? What are some of the examples that they've had success with?
Well, the biggest success at the moment is Groupon.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, everybody participates in that one and gets the emails.
We interviewed the co-founder of Groupon, and it's a great example because Groupon is the last experiment of a failed internet company. They were going to shut the business down, and Groupon was the last test. Can you believe that?
And
now it's going to go public for $25 billion.
Wow. Any other ones we'd recognize that you visited with?
You know, the interesting thing is most you haven't. It's not about celebrity. It's about great execution of an idea.
And getting out there.
Right.
If you want to learn how to do it, get Robert Jackson's book. The name of it again, How to Find a $100 Million Business Idea. That's a title. I think everybody would like to find that answer. Robert, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Natasha.